And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Hail Mary Sports Bar right here on BearcatJournal.com. Go visit our good friends at Hail Mary's. They are in Cheviot on Harrison Avenue. They're in the Dora District, so you can walk from bar to bar with your drinks. You don't have to, though. You can just hang out at Hail Mary's. 27 TVs, 9-screen video wall. There's not a bad seat in the house. They have every sports package that DirecTV offers, and Cincinnati sports will always be on the video wall. Brand new walk-in cooler, brand new draft lines. And not only do they pour the coldest Cincy Light around, but they do so in 32.8 degree frosted glasses. Before we get started, also want to remind everybody, go to Instagram, go to @CincyLight, and there is a post pinned to the top that's got this right here, the Cincy Light logo, the neon bar sign. If you click on that, and you tag a friend, for every friend you tag, that will be an entry into the drawing. And next Thursday night, we will give 2 of those bad boys away. So there you go. All right, let's get to it, Aaron. We have got Talkin with a whole host of folks.
It was a doozy.
It's a 5-hour.
About an hour's worth of stuff here today. So plenty to get to. Start right away with Coach Scott Satterfield. He said pretty consistently the transfers say that this is the hardest winter that they've worked. They said that last offseason. They're saying it again this offseason. So it sounds like Coach Nico found a way to step up his game. But that's where they get their measuring bar from, is seeing guys come in from all over the country, particularly the transfers, as opposed to the incoming freshmen, because they don't know. But
they don't know what they don't know, Aaron.
It's good feedback though to get from the transfers, especially guys who've been at Power 4 programs, and find out that it's the hardest winter that they've worked. Speaking of transfers, 15 of them this offseason, 12 high school guys, gives you 27 total. We'll get to more of that here in a little bit. 3 players, though, at the NFL Combine: John Williams, Luke Kandra, both offensive linemen, and Corey Kiner, the running back. More on that here in a little bit as well. Some spring games have been getting canceled around the country for different universities, but Cincinnati is going to be doing what they're going to call a showcase on April 12th. You'll have some practice, some 11-on-11. You'll have an autograph session. But essentially, you don't want to end up showing too much of your hand. You want to see enough to be able to make your evaluations, but they're going to be making evaluations every single day anyway. So this one is really no different for the coaching and staff outside of any other practice as far as evaluations go. But it's a chance for the players to show their talent, showcase themselves to the season ticket holders, general public, just to kind of have a little bit of fun with it, and trying to do some different things this season to maybe take less of the focus from the actual practice itself, but let you get to know the players, the guys coming in, because there's been such a disconnect with all the NIL stuff and guys coming in, the transfer portal, all of that. There's been a big disconnect between the fans and the players.
I think they did a good job rebranding it. It's not going to be a spring game where you just show up, you watch them scrimmage, and you leave.
Right.
It's going to be a showcase where you show up, you get to watch some practice, you get to mingle with the players and get autographs and things like that after.
There's a luncheon.
It's being done differently on purpose, because these spring games are becoming a thing of the past. And you can either go in the direction that Cincinnati's going, or you can go in the direction that a lot of them are going and just saying, sorry, nothing, you're out. Like,
I think this I think though builds relationships between players and fans. It allows you to get to know the people, as opposed to just seeing a helmet and jersey number running around on the field.
Which the past couple years, Aaron, nobody had any clue who the jersey numbers running around the field were, because they had 50 new players that were there in the spring. If I didn't know, and it's my job to stand there every day and do this during spring ball, who's that? When did they sign him? I don't even remember that guy. Where'd they get him from? California Penal League. Like, it's difficult. I mean, I've seen fans, UCATs, people, coming around they look at me and they go, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Couple of them I'll know. A couple of them will be like, let me pull out my trusty roster because I don't know that guy either.
I think that you probably had over half the people up in the press box doing the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Even halfway through the season, still going back and forth and back and forth. Oh, there's a new number down on the offensive line. Who's that?
Right.
So you just some different things you have to do there. There's going to be some turnover though in the spring. Both guys leaving and coaches trying to fill in some gaps. So expect maybe a little turnover, nothing crazy or monumental, but certainly there will be some stuff there. Again, only quote unquote only 27 new guys this offseason. But coach feels that they fit right in right away, and things feel different when you're only replacing 27 as opposed to, as you said, 50, 60 guys. Definitely a different feel to the team. Even coaches getting to recognize more guys from year to year. So teams will find out how much the three guys that Cincinnati sent to the combine know, especially when they get to the board process where they're going up to the whiteboard and showing what they know as far as X's and O's go. And coach is excited for these three guys to be able to showcase and set themselves apart the way he believes that they can because of how much they know. The staff is going to be evaluating both receiver and secondary during the spring to see who fits best where. Maybe kind of going a half and half route where you're moving guys around on secondary. Maybe you're moving safety from free safety to strong safety, or even safety to corner, or different things that you can do there. Receiver going from slot to boundary, just some different things. Mixing and matching with your toys to see what gives you the best combination when they're out on the field together. They're again going to be evaluating every single day of the spring, not just the spring game, not in scrimmages, but literally every single day, getting back into the meeting room and discussing after every practice. When asked about Corey Kiner, he said he's going to be just kind of giving a what he would tell teams in the NFL if they asked about him. Corey's going to be extremely consistent. You know what you get. He's going to give you extra yards. He's a very smart player. He has outstanding character. And if there's somebody else that's kind of neck and neck with him as far as the on-field stuff goes, Corey should be able to set himself apart by the stuff that he provides you off the field as well. High school players versus the incoming transfers have completely different expectations. Some freshmen have already put on 10, 15, 20 pounds already. But getting back to the different expectations, a guy who's an incoming transfer is going to be expected to kind of just already know how to conduct themselves as a player in regular day-to-day. They're going to be more focused in on learning the lingo, learning the playbook and the schemes, and trying to figure out how to inject themselves immediately to be able to compete for a starting spot, as opposed to the freshmen who are, just trying to figure out routine and just some of the far more simpler things, how to be a player away from mom and dad, essentially. Some guys already setting themselves apart as leaders from the incoming transfers. Tawee Walker was the first one that coach talked about, and probably talked about more than anybody, how he's set himself apart. He's reminiscent to coach of Corey Kiner in the way that he conducts himself. Matthew McDoom was probably the second most talked about, and what he's been doing as a leader on the secondary. And then the kicker, Steven Rusnick, is setting himself as a leader with the special teams unit. Then, of course, Cyrus Allen and Jeff Caldwell with the receivers, and Xavier Williams, they got some mention as well. Xavier Williams with the safety. Yeah. And then when asked about the IPF, the new facility is going to change things, but next offseason, they're going to continue to step outside into the elements, braving them. Just make sure you keep your kids on your toes. Like, you got to make sure that they're not just getting spoiled in the heat and perfect humidity and all of the things that the indoor practice facility is going to offer. But they still need to just get blasted in the face by 5-degree weather sometimes.
Wonder if, do you think they'll go all the way to Nippert, or do you think they'll just hit like the baseball stadium? Like, all right, we're in the outfield of the baseball stadium. We're not walking all the way over there, down the steps, and then back up the steps.
I think it's going to depend on how freely they allow the baseball team to use the IPF, because look, you're throwing 100 guys out on your outfield, the turf that just got replaced last season. I'm just saying.
You think the baseball team's going to tell the football team what to do? You don't know how any of this works.
If they go to the College World Series, they got a little bit more bragging rights than a team that hasn't finished over 500.
You don't know how any of this works.
Well, I'm just saying. Bishop ball is real. Coach Tyson Veit took the podium next. Said that having a routine this season has been positive, as he has in now his second off season here with Cincinnati, and a number of guys returning has been another big positive. Guys that know the lingo, have taken reps in the scheme, have done the things. Mentioned the valuable reps from freshmen last season, has given a lot of guys that are now sophomores the opportunity to compete to be starters this year. What's one of the things that we used to talk about is if you're entering your junior year and you are not challenging for a starting spot, should you be here anymore? So interesting to see some sophomores already entering that conversation. Xavier Williams playing quarterback in his last season, season before that maybe
last year. Like he was a quarterback going and then got switched during the year
at Middle Tennessee, correct?
Yeah.
Played quarterback. Because of that, he is showing knowledge and vision at safety that maybe some guys who are playing that position just don't have, not having the experience at quarterback. Said that the front six of this defense has a lot of great leaders and plenty of reps that are coming back into the scheme. Coach Adam Braithwaite and Coach Veit were GAs together at West Virginia. Coach Eddie Hicks worked at UNC Charlotte with Coach Veit. So those are some of the relationships that he had with those guys before they got here as your new secondary team, essentially. With coaches and GAs, Veit can move around much more. You have more coaches on staff. You have more GAs here now because of the rule change. So Coach Veit can now move around more freely and get to different groups, get to focus in on different things on the day-to-day, as opposed to having a position group that he had to run and kind of be in control of himself, along with the entirety of the defense. Also, the fact that he's
technically doing the star position, but I think there's just going to be a little bit more freedom for him to be involved in more things.
Like a metaphor for who he's going to be, right? Like
right.
He gets to move around and do different things. They're going to be moving around and do different things. It fits well. Also said that the defensive staff returning a lot of the coaches into the scheme. You're not relearning an entire scheme, essentially, for most of the coaches that are coming back. So that's going to be good for the continuity of this defense. All injured defensive linemen from last season are at or ahead of schedule to get back, and all are progressing well. So it sounds like nothing but positive in that regard. So that's good to see. You don't have anybody currently with any type of, are you going to play football again? Illnesses. You have Micah. What is it? Micah Coleman. Is that his name, right?
Yeah. And Jalen Hunt, Micah Coleman,
and Jalen Hunt. Those are probably your biggest names that are working back from injury. And then also they're going to shift and slide some guys at positions during spring to build depth and competition. So a lot of talk about the depth and competition from all the coaches today. Moving on to coaches Adam Braithwaite and Eddie Hicks, who are going to be running your corners and safeties. A lot of familiar faces for Coach Eddie getting back here since 2013. Said he might be bringing back a wrestling belt to be giving guys the best of the day. I think it's just a fun competition. If it's
for sure.
if it's something that he did as opposed to just the team he was with, I'm all for it. If it's something that the team you were with did, do your own thing.
I don't care either way. Care either way. If it works, do it. I don't care. Luke, everybody brings something with them from wherever they're at. That's part of, how this shit works.
Braithwaite had familiarity working with Vite and some others before. I believe he mentioned the running backs coach as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But he said he's excited about jumping back into the Power Four, and he is new to this scheme, but also said that they were GAs together, as I mentioned earlier. Said he tried to mold himself, actually, on Coach Vite's work ethic, which should surprise absolutely no one. Said that their personalities just clicked, and right now he is a sponge. Eddie Hicks said he is being on the same page for the coaches, for the players, with the coaches is right now the most important thing to him. Going back to Adam Braithwaite, he said that the whole group has high capacity for work. That's been the thing that stood out to him the most, and he is ready, chomping at the bit to start evaluating. Eddie Hicks was very impressed with the strength staff and the standard that they hold themselves to. Adam Braithwaite said he is the depth in trenches is the biggest difference to him from where was he at, Samford, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, Samford, yeah.
Okay. And there has been no bickering yet between the two on who's going to get what players when they get into their respective rooms. So we'll see how the corners and the safeties. I'm curious to see where Kai Stokes lands. I think he's probably the biggest one right now that you've been talking about going corner or safety.
I think there's a couple.
Okay.
I think he's the one that, because he's a big name that everybody is kind of latched to.
It's also the only name that we've heard publicly.
No, I think Logan Wilson has been talked about. I think there's a couple others.
I only just found out Logan Wilson was coming back like 3 weeks ago, so I don't know that he's been talked about. Anyway,
maybe that's my fault for not talking about it enough, but I was told he was coming back at the end of the season. It was just a matter of like going through that whole stupid NCAA process.
Moving on out of football on to basketball. Coach Wes Miller, he was very stoic today at the podium. He was
quiet almost.
Yeah, it was weird. I did not get the vibe that he had any desire to be there in front of a microphone.
He's preparing for Houston.
I get it, and again, I think stoic is about the best word that I could use for it. It was almost like Mufasa sitting at the mic. It's weird, but it said that Houston's success speaks for itself. They have their second Big 12 title already. I thought they were tied. Do they?
No. They're 16-1. And Arizona's 13-4.
I have the standings here, literally on the other screen. Anyway,
they are one win or an Arizona loss away from claiming the outright. What they clinched was a share where they were going to be.
That's where it was.
Champions. Yeah, they clinched a share. If they lose their last 3 and Arizona wins out, they could tie, but that ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Said that Houston's physical. They're defensively, they're physical. Their hands are very, very active. Said that you prepare for this game the same as you prepare for any other game. They've had big games already this season where they've won them when maybe they weren't supposed to, and they prepared for those games the same as they prepared for any other game. So this is no different. Okay, coach.
From that part, for a coach, it's not. Like,
sure.
What you're going to walk in and go, well, this one, It's Houston means more than the rest. Like, they know it. You don't have to say it. They're not stupid. They know they're playing Houston. Houston's kicking everybody's ass.
He was asked specifically about Dylan Mitchell, said that Dylan has been consistently improving, and he is still gaining experience by making mistakes and, again, just improving. We've seen it. We've talked about it. He's been as consistent as anyone we've seen in the last decade, I think, as a Bearcat.
Yeah.
He is what you want to see as far as consistency goes. Said that Seamoss's injury didn't get worse after Baylor. No setbacks as of now. Said that Milos Uzan is finding his role with Houston, and the three-point shooting of the team is what makes them so dynamic, including LJ Cryer and Emmanuel Sharp as well. Yeah, that's a lot to handle there at those three positions. My goodness. Said that the Bearcats reset in a healthy way over the course of the last 3 weeks. More life in their play collectively. They have to build on that. They have to embrace the day-to-day approach. If they weren't embracing the day-to-day approach before 3 weeks ago, maybe that was the problem.
I think it's easy to get overwhelmed in this league. I really do. I think it's easy to just like look at the schedule and be like, well, where's the breath? Where's the hole in the ice to come up for air?
Which is the problem. Yeah, as soon as the thread starts to unravel, you're scrambling, trying to get it.
Yeah.
Because was the reset after or during that 5-day break? Was that what they took advantage of after Utah and BYU?
No, it was West Virginia.
Okay.
Remember the West Virginia game was, I think.
I try not to remember the West Virginia game. Yeah. I think that's the problem.
And then after the West Virginia game, they kind of got things back on track. There was only 3 days between. That was Sunday to Wednesday, West Virginia to UCF.
Okay. Said that guys cared maybe too much and they were down about the play. So this team collectively just hit the reset button. They had a meeting about it. They talked about it and they all agreed it's time. Hit red button now. Bop.
Yeah.
Break glass in case of emergency. I'm curious who got the axe. Seems to me it was Josh Reed.
Josh Reed got the axe.
I'm saying.
For real. Josh got the axe.
Juwan Roberts and Tugler are a tough duo with their length, with their timing, with their just consistency of effort. It's tough a duo as you're going to face for bigs in this league. Asked about Josh Reed, said that he was not mincing words about Josh Reed, said he was a slow, consistent improvement. The more he played, the better he did. And he won best defensive player this season more than anyone. But again, just he emphasized it was not quick. It was not something that he felt, you could be a starter when he was not a starter. He did not feel he could have more minutes when he did not have more minutes. It has been a slow build.
Remember in the non-conference, like he was playing, they were giving him his opportunity. He was playing good defense and doing his job, but he was still missing shots. He was not confident on offense.
I did not have a good word to say about him during the non-conference.
Yeah.
I remember clearly. Again, that's why I feel like I'm in a different timeline right now.
Sometimes it really is as easy, Aaron, as you just see the ball go through the net a couple of times and like the world just releases from your shoulders.
Or he's just a living Mandela effect. I don't know.
You still remember him not playing well offensively.
But I remember a different version of him. I remember like Shaq Kazam versus Sinbad Kazam or whatever we do with that. I remember, the cornucopia Fruit of the Loom logo versus the without the cornucopia.
No, I got you.
I remember Josh Reed couldn't make a three-pointer, did not know how to drive to the basket. I remember you specifically said Josh Reed can't dunk, which is why he goes up for layups. Now we've seen him. He's dunking.
Wow.
He had a dunk. He went up.
He almost died.
I'm talking about the one before that. I'm talking about
that was one hand. That was one hand. And if you look at the picture, he's hanging on by his fingernails.
Look, I am not trying to take this guy's flowers. I'm not going to let you do it either. I've been harsh enough on him. We are in a Mandela effect, Josh Reed. I don't have much more left. But Coach said he doesn't need to be the underdog. He just enjoys the chance to compete. That's all I got talking about.
All right. Real quick, we've gone long again. We haven't done that much. We've done that a bunch lately. So yeah, let's real quick. Houston. They're number 8 in the country in offensive efficiency, number 3 in defensive efficiency. Out of 364 teams, Aaron, they are 361st in tempo. You do not and cannot get them running up and down. They are 12th in the country in offensive rebound percentage. They do allow some defensive rebounds on their defensive end more than they normally do. They're 130th there, letting their opponents get 28.8% of their misses. They are second in the conference in three-point percentage, which is crazy to me, Aaron. Did you know they're 298th in the country in three-point attempts to field goal attempts? They do not take a lot of threes. They make a lot of threes. Right. They're second in the country in three-point percentage made. 40% they make 40% of their threes, but they just don't shoot a ton of them. They just take the good ones.
They don't have to.
Yeah.
Because they also rebound well. And you name it, they do it well.
Yeah. They are second in the country in 2-point percentage. So they make you shoot over top of them. They only allow you to shoot 31% from 3. They allow you to shoot 43% from 2, which is crazy defensively. Yeah. To hold teams to 43% from 2. So it ain't going to be easy. They're really good. They're getting better. LJ Cryer has been kind of their main guy this year. He leads them in minutes. He leads them in points. He's shooting 41% from 3. Emmanuel Sharp is shooting 43% from 3. Milos Uzan is shooting 42% from 3. Terrence Archino is shooting 38% from 3. Malik Wilson is shooting 44% from 3. Joseph Tugler is shooting 33% from 3. I love them and hate them at the same time. Do you know Juwan Roberts hasn't taken a 3 this year? I know it's not his game, but he's taken 0. Not even once wide open has he been like, I'm going to let this one fly.
Doesn't have to.
I know he doesn't have to, but usually just once every now and again, you're like, do I got it today? Nope.
Make the extra pass. They average less than 10 turnovers per game.
Yeah. They take care of the ball. They shoot it really well from 2. They shoot it great from 3. They're just a monster. They're just a monster.
Push the tempo as hard as you can. You have to. You have to.
You can't. Okay, I'm telling you, you can't. There's 364 teams in America. They are 361st in tempo.
I'm curious. I'm curious as to who the referee crew is going to be for this game. I think that's going to be fascinating.
It's a CBS game, so they're putting their big names on it. Guaranteed. Okay.
I wouldn't hate if Wes gets an early technical in this game, set the tempo. I'm okay if Arnson Page comes into the game as a goon in this game. I'm also curious what the over-under on times they pan to Houston, and Coach has the white garbage in the corners of his mouth that he gets from time to time. Is it disgusting? I don't know if you've ever noticed that.
No, I don't.
Well, Houston has a problem
there. All right. That's going to wrap it up. We've gone 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes. It's 10 minutes too long. We'll see you Saturday at the Holy Grail. If you can't make it to the Grail for the game, 4:30 tip, head to Hail Marys. They will also get you taken care of there. Thanks to Cincy Light. Thanks to Hail Marys. We'll see you next time. That's the Nightcap, brought to you by BearcatJournal.com. See ya.